What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Islander Armory. Today I have a special treat for you. I have a Gen 1 MMP versus a Gen 2 MMP. This one is my very first red dot pistol I ever acquired. This one has probably, I would say, around 5,000 rounds or more through it. It is super slick. I just recently replaced this barrel within the last couple of years. I still had the OEM barrel in it, but Agency Arms had such a good deal on the barrel, I couldn't pass it up. And I love the tin color, and with the black has a very nice, it looks really good. It does have an RMR 06. I did put titanium screws in this one. It has the more aggressive grip texture, more rubberized than the standard MMP. This is the MMP Pro Series Core model. I mean, they used to write all that crap on their slides. The only thing I wish this thing had was these are like the scale serrations, I guess you would call them. I wish they would have did them up front in the 1.0s. I tried for a long time to see if anyone could copy them, and it was really difficult to find someone that did it, so I just gave up for a long time. But this gun is probably one of the most accurate guns I got, and it really irritates me because I have some firearms that are a lot nicer than this, and this one I could never get rid of because it's a great gun. It's got that agency or the Apex trigger in it, which it had when I acquired the firearm. And I think that's it on this one. It does have, I mean, if you compare the two, it has the beaver tail is more prominent on the Gen 1, if you can see it, and then the Gen 2 is less prominent. I think you can replace the back strap and make it more, but my hands are kind of small, so that would be a little bit too big for me. And on the Gen 2, this is the 2.0 metal version. I like the look of it. It's got that tungsten Cerakote, and it just popped. I actually bought this Agency barrel as well for this one. I actually had this barrel for at least 6 to 8 months before this one even became in my collection, because I knew that I wanted to have a barrel that kind of matches the color. I mean, it's as close as it can get, I guess. But this one, the reason why I was drawn to it, because one, the Cerakote, and two, the metal frame, and three, it has the scale serrations like I've been waiting for. So when you do like press checks and stuff, it's a lot easier to do. Then this is more slick. I mean, you can do it, but it's a little bit more slippery, obviously, because you have more surface area over here. It does have a Leupold Delta Point Pro on it, which I'm not sure if I want to keep this one on here or not. I do like the reticle. It's just a little taller. If you see that Leupold reticles, or I mean optics, versus the RMR, the Trijicon, is about half the size, tall wise. So it does sit a lot taller on the slide than the other one does. But the one thing that bugs me about this firearm is every other version that's a core model, which is a combat optics ready version or a red dot ready, is they always have suppressor height sights. And on this one, they did not do that this time. They only put the standard sights on it, which is kind of strange. I don't understand why. I mean, look at this one, the core. Obviously this is a Gen 1, but I had a 2.0 black one as well. But when I saw that this one was coming out, obviously I wanted to get this one instead. That one had suppressor height sights, and this one, for some reason, they only put the standard height sights. So I have that SIG P365X macro that you guys have seen before, but that one has the enclosed pistol reticle, the EPS carry on it, and that one sits really low to the point to where you can still use your standard height suppressor sights and see through the optic. I might go with the EPS, which is the bigger version of that, and see if it sits low enough to use the standard sights. I mean, it's not a big deal if I can't, but I do like the Leupold optic. It's really nice. It just sits a little bit taller than I'd like. But with the Gen 2s, the 2.0s, I mean, they actually they updated the trigger. It used to have that weird I don't even know what you would call it, a hinge trigger, I guess you would say. And now this one's more of a traditional, like a Glock style trigger with the dongle, I would call it, in the trigger. And then it has a really nice break. The texture is a little bit more aggressive than the 1.0. I would say my kind of like skateboard-ish type, but kind of rubberized. And having the aluminum lowers, I mean, it's a little bit heavier, but it's not that big of a deal, right? The only thing I wish Smith & Wesson wouldn't do is put all their labeling. I mean, holy cow, it's got labeling all over the thing, which, I mean, to them, I guess that's good for them. But the other thing I do like about this too is you kind of have this area here where when you want to present, you can kind of rest your thumb in there a little bit. Obviously on the right side it has it as well, but it's a little bit smaller. But for me being left-handed, obviously you guys know that it's really comfortable to hold like that. There is nothing behind me, by the way, it's just a hillside. So, and another thing I noticed, if you take, for example, this is a 1.0, the Gen 1 magazine, correct? When you put this in, the gap on the bottom here is really tight. It's not much of a gap. I don't know if you can see. But when you use the 2.0 magazine, I actually marked them with silver Sharpie so that I would know that this is a Gen 2 magazine because they look exactly the same. There is a slight bigger gap. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I just noticed that for some reason, the Gen 1 must sit a little higher and the gap isn't as noticeable. I don't know if it's like a pinch point, maybe, I don't know. I've shot it and I've never had any issues, but for me, I like the cleaner look that has the 1.0s that are a lot tighter to the base of the firearm. It still has the adjustment tool to change out the grips, which I think I put the medium one on here, so it's perfect for me. And it does have higher slide release levers than the 1.0 used to. It's more prominent on the 2.0. But other than that, I like the 2.0 a lot, but I still go back to the 1.0 because this one is such an amazing shooter. And with the RMR, I mean, RMR's obviously been top dog for a long time, and I love the titanium screws in there. But my new favorite is going to be probably this one because it's obviously feels a little bit better since it's metal. Like I said, the weight difference isn't that significant to change anything, but then the color is just, it pops, and it's a really nice gun. So I'll jump into the shooting here like I always do. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in a little bit. I got the Smith & Wesson 1.0. We're going to do some shots. I think I have about 17 rounds in this magazine. Sorry, there's a lot of bugs here. The sun's starting to set, so hopefully the picture doesn't come out too bad. But let's go shoot this target. Target is about 20 yards, by the way. I got another mag here. I got the other firearm down there, so do another 17. And now the 2.0 metal. me, the 2.0 seems like it's a little bit softer of a shooter. Maybe it has to do with the weight. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a placebo effect. It could be that. So thank you for tuning in. And remember that you can't put a price on your life. Islander Armory out.